Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Know-How is brought to you by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
Today on Know-How,
we're going to show you how to make a streaming kit for under $300.
Welcome to Know-How. It's a Twitch show where we build, bend, break, and upgrade and hold up streaming devices. I'm Father Robert Balaser.
I'm Megan Maroney.
And for the next however many minutes it takes, Megan's going to hypnotize you so you can get all that knowledge in the knowledge jar on top of your body. That's what we do here. Megan, we needed to do another podcasting / streaming episode. I got an email from a fan who basically said, look, I like the fact that maybe once every 2 years you guys do a podcasting thing, but most of our episodes have been focused on building a podcasting studio like we have here at Twitter or like I have in San Francisco. They said, well, what about the person who just wants to stream? They just want to like live blog. They just want to maybe show themselves playing video games on YouTube or Twitch or even on Twitter. So this set of episodes, actually this is going to be a two-parter, is all about how to do that.
I'm excited because as I've always said since the dawn of time, if you're not live streaming yourself, you are not living your best life.
Okay, yeah, we should probably put a disclaimer on this. Not everything that you do needs to be live streamed. Really, seriously, take it from us. We do this professionally. It's fun, and you should do it if it's fun. You should do it if it's a passion. But please, I don't need to see a Twitter feed of you eating. Yes,
and if you're under 16, 17, 8, 25, ask your parents first.
I like how that just kept going up. Yeah. So you're planning for your kids now, right? It's like, yeah, you know what? You can be a blogger when you're 30.
Yeah, after you get your PhD. That's what I always say.
All right. Now, we are going to show you some of the hardware, some of the software, some of the things that I like, some of the things that Megan likes for some simple streaming. Now, in part 2, which I'm going to do with Jason Howell, we're going to get a bit more involved. I'm actually going to show you how to do things like hook up, say, a gaming console so that you can do a multi-window stream to, say, Twitch or YouTube Live. That's a bit more complicated. That's a bit more expensive. But we can do this entire thing for $300 or less and get some really decent quality. You ready?
I am ready.
All right, let's go and start off with some of the hardware. Now, let's talk about lighting. If you're going to be doing streaming, believe it or not, lighting is actually one of the first things you consider, not one of the last, because you could buy the best camera ever, but if you have poor lighting, if you're using like 3 different types of light, like an incandescent and a fluorescent and an LED, or if you're just lit from the sun, it will look horrible. We've seen this because we've got guests on all of our respective shows that maybe don't pay as much attention to the lighting as possible. In fact, I had one guest on Twiat, I won't call anyone out, but they bought a brand new HD camera, like a 4K camera, that, and then the interface to connect it to the computer, and a really nice microphone and headset, but it was lit by the sun from outside the window, and it just looked horrible. The shadows were so sharp because the light was only coming from one direction, and as the show went on, because it ran for an hour, the shadows just kind of moved across the room. You've seen that too, right?
I have, and I think it's hard sometimes. I don't want to make a gross generalization, but I'm going to make a gross generalization that men often aren't as concerned, or they don't think they should be concerned, so they're like, oh, it's fine. But you're trying to keep the person's attention, so do whatever you can to use the best light, to just to look as good as you can. There's no shame in it. If you want to live stream yourself, this is your business, whether you're male or female, try to do everything you can to not make the picture look bad.
Yeah, and especially with vlogging. The thing is, they're staring right at you. And if they're staring right at you for 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes, whatever it might be, they will start to see all the imperfections. And you're not doing yourself any favors by going cheap on the lighting. Now, this is, if you show the first link there, Burke, this is what we would normally suggest. It's relatively inexpensive. It's a 3-light setup. This, if you look at episode 212, we explained the 3-light setup. I don't want to do it again. But you have a main light, which is slightly off-center with not so much spread that it whites out the background. You have a hair light, which is above and slightly behind the subject. That's that overhead one. What that will do is it will separate them from the background, so they're not just blending in. It's not just all one big blob of color. And then you've got the background light, which is a bit low and behind the subject. What that will do is, rather than just blasting them with light, it has light coming in from multiple directions. And what it will do is light everything while at the same time maintaining angles and contours. That's what we've got here in the studio. Every single set has a 3-light setup. We've always got the front aiming light, we've got the key light, and then we've got some sort of background. There you go, there's our background. Because that's what makes it look good. I mean, people wonder why, oh, how do you get your stuff to look so good? Is it because of your cameras? It's like, no, we're using 10-year-old cameras. It's just we've got a very good light design.
Yeah, plus we're amazing looking.
Right, I mean, I look like this right out of bed. I know it's hard to believe. It's just pretty easy to believe. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's funny, my mom called me up the other day, goes, oh, I saw your show. I'm like, which one? She goes, the one that you did with Leo. I'm like, oh, New Screensavers. She goes, yeah, it was really, really good. And there was this pause. She goes, have you thought about using makeup? I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom. Well, that's advanced techniques.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later on. But if you don't want to get that 3-light setup, and I understand why you might not like it, because it takes a lot of space, there is an alternative, and it's not that expensive, and it's right here. This is an LED ring light from Neewer, and if you go to the link for this one, Burke, it's about $100, and there's different types of kits. Some of them come with big stands, some of them don't. Some of them come with a Bluetooth control so that you can do selfies on your camera. The nice thing about this is it also includes a little attachment, that little clip, so that you can put your smartphone in here. Now, the nice thing about this, if you come back to the front shot, Burke, because I'm surrounding the camera, I still get that multi-angle light. It's not all coming from one place, and I can more evenly light my subject. In fact, let's go ahead and show them what it looks like. Burke, if you could go to the external camera. Megan, I'm going to ask you if you could please model for us a little bit. Okay, so this is what the lighting looks in here right now, because our light is not designed to go that direction. So I'm going to light this up a tiny bit. It's dimmable. There we go. It's about 36 watts. And so now I can find the light level that's just about right for me. Now, I have to say, this is about 10% lighting, and it's already kind of painfully bright, is it not, Megan?
I'm enjoying it so much, I don't feel the pain.
Oh,
but yes,
okay.
now I
well,
feel
now
as if I can't see anything
burn.
anymore.
Feel the burn. Feel the burn.
Do I look 35 yet?
You do.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Now, the nice thing about this, it also includes a couple of different filters. That's how bright this thing is.
Yeah.
Which will allow me to change the color temperature. On its own, this is just a diffuser. This is going to be 5,500 Kelvin, which is just a tiny bit warmer than sunlight, which is going to be about 5,400 Kelvin. So if you're looking for the daylight balance, this is actually quite good. But if you don't want that, actually turn this back down, you can actually just strip off these covers. So that's a diffuser, and they've given us this one. So this will get us a slightly warmer temperature. This works really poorly on me. I look horrible with this. Let's see what you look like.
Okay.
I think it's designed for those with a bit more fair skin.
Oh.
There we go. So it just clips on. Now, the nice thing about this is it's a 14-inch diameter, 180 LEDs. As I said, it's about 36 watts. You don't need a whole lot when you're directing everything in the direction that it's supposed to go. A lot of these lights are overpowered because they waste so much. This one doesn't do that so much. Burke, if you go ahead and go back to our external shot. There you go, and I'm going to turn this up. Oh, see, actually, that does work on you. So now, the other one made you look a little bit green. This one actually warms up your skin.
Oh.
Now, on me, you go to the external.
Looks
The
spooky
external
that way.
shot, Burke. External. Still the, yeah, see, no. No.
No.
It looks like I did a really bad spray on tan. That's,
Yeah. It looks a little bit like that movie about the witches. What was that one where witches something? You know what I'm talking about?
Which one?
Where they
Wait, okay,
were-
so let's do a comparison here. So this is Megan. Let's turn yours down a little bit. That's actually okay, but then you turn it towards me, and not so much. So pick the right color temperature for you. You've got two choices here. Two different diffusers, two different settings. I've got a camera mounted on this, but I can easily mount just about anything else. It's got this wonderful little hot shoe. Well, it's not a hot shoe, but it's got a shoe here. So anything that uses a standard ball mount, I can use to mount on
so
this.
So you could do like your phone in there.
Correct. Actually, that's what I want to show off next. Let's go ahead and put that attachment on, and then we're going to have you mount your iPhone.
Okay. Should I put you attach it first and then you put the iPhone in there, or
No.
do you?
Oh yeah, attach it first. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me take this off. Oh wait, no, I mean let me attach that to this first. This, yeah, I mean, you've all seen this before, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it this way. And then we're gonna put your iPhone will go right in the middle. And the nice thing about this is if you have an iPhone or an Android phone, pretty much any phone, you've got streaming apps via Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. They can all work just fine. There we go. So, boom. Now this is a nice portable rig, and this does include a carrying case. So you've got a rig that can travel with you, that can give you immediately good light. And if you've got a Bluetooth mic connected to your phone, it also means that you can have good sound. This is an ideal setup. And the thing is, this is only $100. So if you wanted to use your phone already, that's $100, and you've got a setup that can travel with you that looks exceptionally good. How bad, right?
Yeah, let me stop the video because it's just of your chest.
Well, that's the other thing. You'd probably want the camera facing forward.
Yeah, well, I have that ability to do that.
Okay.
Flip the camera around.
Yeah.
You gotta rotate the camera. I mean, rotate the...
Oh, yeah,
look
I
at
look
that.
good.
Right? Right?
I look a little shiny, though.
Oh, yeah, I can fix that. Just
Oh, there, yeah.
Wait.
Hello.
Actually, it automatically adjusts, but that's painful to look at, is it not?
Hello. This is the Blair Witch Project.
This is us having fun with lights.
Yes.
Congratulations.
I love my job so much.
Yeah, I know, right? We get paid for this. This is amazing. All right, so let's go ahead and move away from lights, and let's talk a little bit about cameras. In the past episodes, the podcast episodes, I brought in some nice cameras. My AG HMC 150, which is a Panasonic. It's sort of the shoulder-mounted one. Some black micros, which I love. Those are great, great cameras. But for what we're doing, remember, we want them to stay under $300. It's probably overkill. If you're just going to be streaming to YouTube and Twitch, there still is one camera, which is amazing, because we've been using it and its predecessor for about 15 years. And that's this. This is the Logitech C920. If you go to the side view here, Burke. The C920, so it's on a tripod mount right now, but because it's on a tripod mount, it means I could remove it from this tripod and I could install it into my ring light if I really wanted to. That's what I was looking to do. The nice thing about the C920 is this is a 1080p camera. It does H.264 hardware encoding. Now, the reason why you want that is if you don't have the hardware encoding built into the camera, it's got to be done inside the computer, inside the processor. That just means you're using processing power. It slows everything down, and especially if you're going to be running everything off of a laptop, that's not something that you can really afford. Do the encoding in the camera, it means you're transferring less data over the USB bus, which means there's more room for everything else. Yeah, so there we go. This is the 920, and the wonderful thing about this is when we first started buying these were about $100. Now they're $50. So you can pick yourself up one of these, put it with the ring light, and actually, let me show you what that looks like. Let's disconnect it from this. We're actually going to put it inside the ring light, like so. I love buying my kits so that they're modular because it means I can use them for multiple things. So pretty much everything that I get, from the camera to the lighting to the headphone to the eventual streaming modules that we're going to get for the more advanced stuff, they can be used for other purposes. That gets me. Oh, I just unscrewed it. Hold on. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, and upside downy. There we go. Tie that in. So what I can have is a complete web streaming studio that's self-contained within its own light. And right now our price is about $150. So it's $100 for the light, it's $50 for the camera. You've used these before, right? Because I know that you've had to stream remote every once in a while.
I haven't used this particular setup, no.
You normally stream from your camera or from
I
your
live
phone.
5 minutes from work, so I usually come in when I need to stream anything and use the stuff here. But no, yeah, or I just stream with my phone.
Nice, nice. Now this camera is not great. Someone in the chat room is asking at doing macro. It will do macro photography, but that's not really set up for that. If you want that, you're going to need to pay attention to the second episode of the series because we're going to get into some of the more advanced, higher end stuff. But that's definitely not under $300. Now, the other thing that you're going to need is some sort of headset. A lot of people make the mistake of cheaping out on the headset. That's a really bad idea. And I know you've had this experience, just as I have, of people just using like the old iPhone earbuds. They work, but they sound horrible, absolutely horrible. And people don't forgive bad sound. They can forgive bad lighting and bad camera, but if you have bad sound, they turn you off almost immediately.
Yeah.
We've seen that time and time again. In fact, a lot of our downloads are from people who are just listening. Even if they download the audio, the video version, they're just listening to the audio. And so if the audio is staticky, tinny, or just sounds bad, there's no reason why they're going to stick around. Yeah.
Yeah, and even it doesn't even have to be cheaping out. We've had people use AirPods, which are not cheap, and that does not sound great either. Sometimes it sounds fine, but yeah, it's if you're going to be doing a remote, just ask what the person wants you to use.
Precisely. And we always tell our people, it's best if you get a USB headset. I mean, we would prefer that you have something like the Heil PR40, but of course, most of them aren't going to spend $500, $600 on a setup. So instead, what I would suggest is to get something like this. If you go to the overhead shot, Burke, I'll widen it up so that it can catch this. There we go. This is the HyperX Cloud Alpha. I got this during one of the holiday shows, and I've been really happy with my Cloud Revolver. My Cloud Revolver was actually the USB version of this. It's an uber comfortable headset, and that's what you want. You want something that you could wear the entire day, and it's not going to fatigue you. I've got aluminum clips and aluminum hinges, which is nice because most of these in this price range are using plastic, and it just doesn't feel as good. Super comfortable here. Put this on your head, Megan.
Oh, that's nice. They are comfortable.
They don't. A lot of the other ones just kind of squeeze. These uses an interesting band design, so that as you extend them, they kind of reduce the amount of pressure they're putting on the sides of your head. Because this was designed for a gaming headset, this will actually work on your PC, on your Xbox, on your PS4, your Nintendo Switch, basically anything that has a 3.5mm jack. And this is what I love. You can use it just like that when you just want audio, but then it has a detachable microphone.
That's nice. They are really soft.
Yeah, it's a leatherette. It's not leather, but it's a leatherette.
So no cows were killed.
No cows were killed. And this microphone is fantastic. So you've got dual 50mm drivers with their own dual chambers. So there's one chamber on each driver for bass and one driver for the mids and the highs. It's got detachable microphone and cord. And speaking of the cords, they give you two different types of braided cords, which I like because they don't tangle up as much. This one, if you go to the overhead, this is sort of the inline control. This will work with your phone or any device that has a combo jack. That's when the input and the output are the same. And then they also include this one, which will work with those devices like laptops and desktops that have one jack for mic and one jack for audio out. There's also the USB version of this. Did you go to the link for this already? This is going to cost you about $100. The USB version will add between $30 and $50, but the underlying headset is fantastic. If you're looking for a device that will be good for your podcasting, your streaming kit, and again, you want it multifunction, I don't think there's a better one on the market for this price than the HyperX versions.
That's a really good price.
It actually really is. Yeah. I know, right? And I've had the same one. In fact, Brian Burnett has. We got two of these, and he took the nicer looking one, so I got this now.
That's nice.
And he's still using it. And he edits all day, and then he games all night, and he can use the same headset for both. Again, if I can use a piece of technology for multiple purposes, I'm entirely down with that. Okay. Now, so that gives us the hardware. We've got the ring light, we've got a camera, and we've got audio. All of that so far is about $250. So we're still way under our $300 budget. Here's the last piece that you're going to want Now, it's a bit more complicated than just streaming off of your phone, but what we're going to show you is something that is incredibly flexible, because what this will allow you to do is stream to Twitter, stream to Facebook, stream to Twitch, and it will allow you to switch your video just like we do here at the Brick House. But one big difference, this is entirely free. Yeah, that's right. If you go ahead and go to my computer, Burke, this is probably my favorite, XSplit Broadcaster. There's a keyboard mash in the chat room is saying OBS, and I like OBS, but OBS is a bit more difficult to do. This will run on my lap. This is actually running on my laptop, and it's not open source, but it is free, so that's actually quite cool. If you go back to my computer, this is what it looks like. What I can do is I can add sources. So I'm going to add a device. Oh, actually, what I should probably do is plug in the camera first. They like it when I do that. I'm going to plug in the webcam that we just showed you that's currently installed inside this lighting ring. Let it detect it. There you go. Boom. So now I have this webcam, and let's say I want to create a scene. So I can make this bigger or smaller based on how much of the frame I want it to fill. And I can make scenes. See these scenes down here? So I can fade between scenes. So this one's going to be just the webcam. Let's make another one that has the webcam. And let's say a website. And we're going to use http twit.tv .tv/kh. That's TV/kh. And it actually has a mini browser that's going to work inside the window. So I can switch back and forth between the primary cam and that second scene, which is basically what we're doing here at Twit, but with a much more expensive piece of hardware. I can plug multiple USB cameras. I can get a couple of these Logitech 920s. In fact, why not get two of them? One pointing at me and maybe one pointing at when I'm working. And then with one button, I can switch back and forth. Now, what I'm seeing here, this is sort of like the TriCaster switching screen. And then I can do this. My output, I can stream out to YouTube. I can stream out to Facebook. I can stream out to Twitter. I can stream out to Twitch. These are all just outputs that are preset. See, I've got a Twitch output. Oh, there we go. A Twitch output, YouTube, Facebook, Mixer, Ustream, Dailymotion, FC2, or custom if I want to do, say, Twitter. The nice thing about this is I can actually make a stream and then push it out to multiple providers. So I can do one video log, and it will go out to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch at the same time, while also making a local copy so that I can edit it later on if I want to. And again, free, totally free. It will require a little bit of a powerful laptop. I would not do this without, say, an i7 with at least 16 gigabytes of memory and an SSD. But for the cost, it's actually pretty dang good. Go ahead and go back to that, there we go. So here we go. This is our complete setup. Oh, that's way burned out. So I would actually have to go back into the settings and make sure that that lighting is not overblown. That's pretty dang good. I mean, for a $250 setup, including your, well, not including, but along with your laptop. Thank you, Burke.
Blair Witch Project.
You're really into the Blair Witch thing. That's kind of creepy. That's right. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So again, under $250, using your laptop, a light, a camera, and a headset, so that I could actually narrate what's going on. This is not bad. What do you think?
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Now, what we are missing from this, though, Megan, is some people are going to want to do this because they want to show them playing video games. This will not do that. If you play a video game on this laptop, you will have a horrible experience because it's using up a lot of its power just to run the broadcaster. In fact, right now, if you go back to my screen, at the bottom left-hand corner, it's telling you right now that it's running an i7 7600U processor, and I'm using up 50 or so % of the cycles just to do what I'm doing right now. So it's not going to be really good with gaming. What we're going to do in the next episode is I'm going to show you some hardware that will allow you to connect a secondary computer. So if you wanted to play a game on that, or say on Xbox or PS4, you can use almost this identical setup with another computer to do that sort of advanced broadcasting. Does that sound like a deal?
That sounds like a good deal.
Will you stay with me for that? Mm-hmm. All right, fantastic. Now, When we come back from the second segment, Megan and I are actually going to show you a little something else. Again, under $300, but another easy way for you to stream. But before we do that, Megan, I think we should talk to someone about this, right? I mean, we're professionals, but we kind of do this day in, day out. I thought maybe an outside view of what it takes to podcast might be in order. Who are you going to talk to?
I am super excited to talk to Trisha Hirschberger. She is an expert Twitch live streamer, expert YouTube live streamer, just an expert all around. She also does produced work. And I spoke to her on Triangulation for a long time, but I called on her to get her expert tips on how to stream yourself. Trisha Hirschberger, it's nice to talk to you again.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here again. It's been too long.
It has been too long. I think I didn't even mention that you were a gamer, which is part of what you stream. So tell us a little bit about if someone thinks, oh, you know what, I love watching people live stream on Twitch. I want to do that. What advice do you have for those people?
This is actually my favorite question that I get from viewers because it's so much easier to start streaming than people think it is. And I'm in full support of anything that enables people to take something that they're passionate about and only thought of as a hobby and make that into their career or something they can bring in a viable source of income. So streaming can be done and very easily. I always talk to people usually about getting into it from a PC streaming setup where you are playing game and streaming from one PC, which is very taxing on your PC depending what type of game you play. But if you like to focus on indie games or retro games, or if you're streaming from a console where it gets sticky is because your PC is both running your game and encoding and broadcasting your stream at the same time. And that's a lot of heavy lifting. But if your game isn't so taxing, or your game is being run on, say, a console and then your PC is just broadcasting, this you can do from I would say $500 to $550 PC range, which everyone's like, what? That's crazy. I even know some people that got started streaming on a laptop using the laptop webcam. And the company Razer, if you're familiar with Razer, makes some really great entry-level broadcasting and streaming devices right now. They have a webcam that has lighting incorporated. So rather than purchasing a separate webcam, a separate lighting kit, and setting that all up in a studio, you can get started fairly easily. They also make a really nice USB condenser mic specifically for the type of audio that you're going to be looking for from a stream. Or I always recommend people do exactly what I'm doing right now. Have a headset that has a microphone and use that as your early audio setup. That's totally fine. And the software that you would need to stream, say if you're going to use OBS or XSplit or something like that, there are free versions of both of those. You can play around with them. There's tons of tutorials online on how to get started with those. I have a tutorial on XSplit on my channel. And yeah, the entry point is very low. Now, granted, it takes a while to really get your groove, but you can get started and play around and see what's fun to you.
So do you have lighting? We spoke a little bit earlier on the show about lighting. Do you have special lighting, or is that just you?
So I do. I have lighting. So you'll see I've got this little wonky flap over here, shade covering my window, because as much as I would love to use natural lighting, sometimes I stream when it's dark outside, or sometimes the light coming in from the side of my studio is too harsh, and then one half of my face is completely lit and the other half is shadow. And while that makes for, a very edgy ambiance, that's not always what I'm going for. I have a very simple softbox lighting kit that I got off of Amazon, and it comes with 3 C-stands to set up 3 different softboxes. And now, if I wanted to be super pro, I would have used the third one for a backlight. I personally don't do that. I have one on each side here, kind of like my main light and my key light coming from my key light, my side light coming in from 2 different angles. But I find that the soft lighting, it doesn't give me those harsh angles. And then if you get daylight bulbs, your color balance is correct. Now, it gets a little stickier when you're using incandescent bulbs or combining different types of light and they're coming from different angles. And it's really just trial and error. I think when I first started out, I put my computer monitor and webcam right in front of a big window and only streamed during the day and just used natural light. And that worked fine. So again, you can get started from a very, very easy, just playing around entry point. But if you were looking specifically for what I use, you can go on Amazon and just search for softbox lighting kit and a bunch of stuff will come up.
So I know you stream on YouTube and Twitch and even sometimes on Twitter on Periscope. Which is your favorite place to stream and why is that?
I personally prefer Twitch. I'm a big video game player, have been for a long time. And so I find that a lot of people that are viewers on Twitch and content consumers are somewhat like-minded to me and share a lot of the same interests and passions that I do. And the community on Twitch in general is just the loveliest people. I find on YouTube, especially when YouTube Gaming first launched, there was a battle to deal with toxicity that can often come in the gaming community, whereas on Twitch, it's a little bit easier to surround yourself with people who are supportive and just enjoy all different types of content. So for me, Twitch is my favorite because I really feel that communal aspect to streaming, and that's what differentiates streaming from just playing a game by yourself. You know, if we think back to when we were kids and we could sit on a couch next to our buddies and invite over the kids from the neighborhood to play video games together, to me, that's what Twitch now provides in the digital age, and that's really, really cool.
And what about Facebook? I know they're moving into this sort of realm. Have you gotten involved in streaming on Facebook at all?
I have not yet streamed on Facebook. However, I have close friends and colleagues who do, and they're having a good time with it. It's still in that very early trial of how do we moderate our community? How do we build an audience? What's it look like when people just get to Facebook and say, hey, I want to watch gaming content? What's that front page look like? How can they discover new creators? All of that is still being ironed out. And I think every platform has to come to that in their own way. But there's certainly so many more eyeballs on Facebook in general than there are on, say, a platform like Twitch, that I think the possibility is really huge there. I mean, let's bring people who aren't even necessarily seeking out gaming content into the fold.
Mm-hmm. And so how do you build an audience, whether on all the different platforms? What are some tips for people who, you know, they've gotten all the equipment and they're there and they're just talking to no one? What kind of advice do you give them?
I always say this, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, gaming content, any kind of content, whatever you're doing, you got to be you. I believe that the internet has made this very big difference from traditional media. And by traditional media, I mean television and film, where we're used to seeing people play a character, be something other than what they are. And in the digital age, we want to see the truth. So I feel like some people compare it to reality TV, but it's so much further than that. People are connecting as if on a face-to-face level, just digitally. And when you're connecting with someone face-to-face, if they're being false, that's very easy to read. And it's the same thing on YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Instagram live stories, whatever it is. So find who you are and what you feel like you want to share with people and just do that. The community will come. Like-minded people will gravitate towards you. And so, you know, a lot of people think of, how am I going to brand myself? And that's certainly an important question too. But that comes after, who am I? What is the story I want to tell? What type of content do I want to create? And then I think of, okay, now that I know what that is, let's kind of mold that into either a specific character or a specific show. But most people, what you see of them digitally might just be an enhanced version of who they are in real life. That's what I find, at least. And when you're thinking about that and you're branding and you've kind of made it to that next step, who's the audience you want to cultivate? Who do you want to talk to? Who do you want to hang out with? You know, the audience who, say, is hanging out at a channel like Fail Army is going to be very different than the audience who's hanging out for a really long D&D session, say, at a Critical Role. And which of those audiences do you want to create? And it's better when you're thinking strategy not to combine different types of people too much, because then when people come to your channel, they'll be confused as to what they're going to get. But ultimately, the rule of thumb is if you're just very true inherently to who you are, that will come naturally.
Okay, so I know people have probably heard of you, That Girl Trish on Twitter, but for people that are really excited about listening to you and want to see all the places where they can find you, where is the best place for them to go and find you?
You are so kind. People can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat at That Girl Trish with no I in the girl, so just that GRL Trish, or on YouTube or Twitch /Trisha Hershberger, and my last name is spelled just like it sounds, HERSHBERGER. No extra letters added in there or anything like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Trisha. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon and keep in touch. I can't wait till your child starts playing video games.
I know, I can't wait too. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Have a great day.
Take care.
We want to thank Tricia Hirschberger for speaking with us. That was fun. That was a really good way to look at podcasting and some of the things that you should do to prepare yourself. Because, honestly, anyone can podcast, but podcasting over time takes a little bit of organization. It takes a lot of passion, and it takes a workflow that works for you. You've seen this before. The way that you broadcast is not the way that Jason broadcasts, which is not the way that I broadcast, which is different from Leo. So find the one that works for you, and you go with it.
Right, so you mentioned before that we had another device that was under $300. I think you have another device that's under $300. Me, I like to splurge.
I lied. I straight up lied to you, and I thought it was under $300 because in my booze brain is like under $300, but it's not. It's actually $400, but it's pretty cool. You've had this for a while. Tell me a little bit about it.
This is the front row camera, and you can wear it around your neck or you can clip it to yourself. It's a really fun device. So if you are the kind of, like you're the GoPro kind of live
Action
streamer,
cam.
and you want to just have a camera that's always with you, wearing around your neck or clipped to your pocket, this is a device for you. It's not cheap, as we said. It's $400. So,
but there's a reason for that. It's actually a very well-made device.
It's really well designed. So here is the interface here. I don't know if you can see that.
They will. Hold on.
Okay.
I've got the magic button. Oh, no, the other one. The magic button. There we go.
So it has a camera on both sides and a front camera and a rear camera, and you can live stream straight. If you check my Twitter, I just live streamed a little thing.
What operating system is this? Is this
It's Android, yeah.
Android,
so it looks and feels like Android. So if I wanted to live stream right to Twitter, I'm gonna put in my little password.
Burke, go away. Turn away, Burke.
Turn away from my front row camera password. There we go. So I can describe my video.
That's very
cool. I have a little keyboard there, and I say.
And it's Wi-Fi connected right now.
Yeah, it works with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so it's also connected to my iPhone. And I say just Padre being. Let's see how long I can do this. You could also do this on your phone.
Just put Padre.
We'll just put Padre.
There we go.
And then I go live, and then I am going to do, well, you should be able to see it on this side. Can you see yourself?
You just turned it off.
Oh.
You just, it's off now. I can't see.
Okay.
So wait, are we streaming right now?
Let's see. Well, I don't know. There we go. Here. So you hold it. You're in the video, and you can.
Oh, look at this.
I think I could also see it from my phone, too.
Oh, the Wi-Fi here died.
Oh, no. Well, I can see you. See? I can see you on my phone. There you are. Oh, no. There you are.
Oh, so it's doing Bluetooth and Wi-Fi at the same time. That's actually very cool.
Right. You're king of the world.
And
so that's probably enough for anyone watching this. And then if you go to Twitter, then you would see it.
No, I've been looking for something like this, sort of a one-touch device, because I think a lot of this is a bit too daunting for people. This that is hanging around your neck, if you just really want to get that live effect, it's a whole lot easier to do this, just sort of hang it, than hold your phone up as you walk.
Right.
Or, oh, God forbid, on a selfie stick. Please don't do that. If I see you with the selfie stick, I'm gonna have to disown you. It's not a good look.
So yeah, I found that wearing it around your neck, it's very bouncy if you're moving around. Like if you're wear it around your neck only if you're sitting still, but clipping it to yourself with the clip that comes with it makes it for a much steadier camera.
I would totally put this on my dog's collar.
Yes.
Right? Come on, that's good TV right there.
Except for, remember it was $400. So
oh, no, I would not attach it to my dog's collar.
So
at all.
You can stream directly to YouTube, to Facebook, to Twitter like we did. The other feature that I've used more often, because I'm not just like a casual, here's my life, you gotta see whatever I'm doing while I'm eating lunch. It's this, they have a story mode, which means it takes a still photo.
This I would prefer. Because the action cam is kind of fun for about 5 minutes, and then you're getting dizzy because it's such a jerky angle.
So yeah, so I've used this when I was skiing. We've used it when we went to the beach, and it's just like a 10-second story mode, and you know, makes for a nice.
Does it assemble like a time lapse, or does it give you like a second on each clip?
It assembles a time lapse, and it knows it's smart enough to remove like weird stuff, and you know.
So if it was like in a bag for 5 hours, it would just remove all the completely dark ones.
Yes.
That's actually, I really like that.
Yeah.
That's a great mode. The other thing, so you said Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, 8 megapixel front camera. It's what, a 5 megapixel back camera. So both 1080p up to 2.7 or 2K. You get a maximum frame rate of 30 frames per second, which is completely usable, which you could then download and edit if that's, you know, if that's just a shot that you're looking to add to your collage. And what's the battery life like?
It is, if you're streaming, it's an hour and 45 minutes of direct streaming. Okay. But if you're just like, you know, I think it's 16-hour battery if you're just doing like the story mode. So
and honestly, that's probably the one I would use more, just because that sounds more useful, where I could go back over the entire day and go, oh yeah, I did do that, versus an hour of shaky cam that I probably don't want to look at again.
Right. So, and the camera is really, like the output is pretty great. Do you remember when I tested that electric bike on Know-How? I had the camera attached to me, and we just put that video right in our segment. So it's not much different than the video that you're watching now. It's pretty good, pretty high quality. The camera itself is really well designed. It feels good. You know, I don't know if I'm the type of person that would wear it around my neck. I have worn it around my neck for a day, and I didn't get any weird looks, but you might not think it's the most stylish thing. But Megan, look at me. Do you think I'm concerned with style? Yeah, you could wear it around your neck. I mean, it's also just the creepy factor, I think. Like, but I don't know that people really knew it was a camera. What's
the social protocol on that? As you come into a group, do you have to tell everyone, folks, just so you know, I am wearing an actively streaming camera?
Yeah,
because that kind of kills the conversation, right?
Yeah, but you absolutely do have to do that, I think.
Because if you don't do that, that's a bad move.
Yeah, so the only problem I have with it is, you know, at $400, I wish the still camera itself were better. You know, this camera is way better than that camera for still photos. And, you know, I have this camera with me too. So that's my only issue for the high price of this. But I mean, it really is it's more, it's really fun. I mean, and also it's part of your act. If you are a live streamer, a GoPro type person, then adding this to your oeuvre of tools is
right. And for those people who really just want a one-touch stream, that's actually pretty good. I mean, yes, you can do it on your phone, but as we mentioned at the beginning, this is a different format. It's for a different use. Maybe it's for you.
Yeah, and I mean, it's super easy. Like once you get it started and you know where you want to live stream, or you know, if you're in story mode, it's just one tap to take a picture, 2 taps to take a video, 1 to stop. The controls could not be easier.
Yeah. Speaking of controls not being easy, I do want to show one more piece of hardware before we move along, and that is this. This is the Marantz Turret, or Marantz. However you say the company's name. This is actually an all-in-one device. We just talked about having the lighting, the camera, and some sort of audio. Believe it or not, this is a camera with a ring light and a really nice microphone all in one. And it's been set up specifically for podcasting. This is the kind of setup that you would want to use if you were going to do, say, a Skype call into the Twit TV network. The cool thing about this is it contains everything on sort of like a stick. So the camera is a 2 megapixel 1080p sensor, 30 frames per second, and it's on this swivel. So I can move it back and forth, and I can also tilt it up and down to sort of angle it. I kind of wish this telescoped a little bit so that I could raise and lower it rather than having to raise the entire unit, but I'll give that over. This is under $300, it's $299. It's got multi-step autofocus, a 78-degree lens, so it's just the right angle and the right width for podcasting. I've got H.264 encoding. Just like I mentioned with the Logitech 920, this means it does the encoding inside the hardware before it leaves the camera. Now, the other part about this is the LED ring light, and actually, let me just turn this on. So it's not quite as bright as that big Neewer, but it does get up there. And just like the Neewer, they're going to give me a couple of different gels, a couple of different diffusers and filters. So I've got a warm and a cool diffuser based on what kind of color temperature I want to run. It's 4 inches, it's dimmable, and it's going to run 5600. So it's a little bit warmer than daylight temperature, but pretty dang close. Oh, the microphone, I'm really happy with the microphone. This is it's a condenser capsule. If you actually go to there we go, stay on that shot. This is a condenser capsule. It's a 14 millimeter condenser, cardioid pickup pattern, so it's gonna reject a lot of the sound from the side, just like we get with our Heil PR40s, which we like so much. Now, there's an auxiliary out on the rear in case I want to hook this up to an amplifier so I can share it with others. But there's also a microphone port right here, along with a microphone control knob, so that I could hook up that headset that I like so much, and I can get the same thing that we get from our IFBs here. The microphone, of course, it's articulated, it's on this arm. It also will go up and down. It has an integrated pop screen. It will pick up from 150 hertz all the way up to 15 kilohertz. It's gonna run at 32, 44.1 or 48 kilohertz sampling at 16-bit. I gotta tell you, when I first saw this, I thought, oh, this is gonna be like a $500-600 kit. For $300, this is actually really, really, really good. It even gives you mute and privacy buttons for the camera. So, like, for example, when I turn off my camera, those little lights turn off, so I know that the camera is no longer active. It's still connected, but they'll get a black screen. And then blue means I am broadcasting. Red means I'm muted. And again, that's right in front. They've put a lot of thought into designing this, including the USB-C connection out. If you go to the back of the camera here, Burke, I've got USB 3, two USB 3 ports right here, so I can pass through to other devices in case I want to run something off of this. But that USB-C port means that I can hook it up to my PC, my Mac, whatever it might be, and you know, get some decent connectivity. There is one little problem with this, Megan. It's picky. It's super, super picky. I had this connected to my desktop. It worked just fine. I tested it on Skype. I tested it on XSplit. I hooked it up on a Macintosh here. It worked just fine. I hooked it up to this laptop. The mic works. I can hear it just fine. The camera connects, but it's showing all black. So I'm thinking there's something funky with their H.264 encoding that's not quite right. I'm sure they could fix that with a firmware update. But that's why the only thing I would say is hold off until they get that fixed, because I don't think people want to buy this and then return it if they have one of the computers that it doesn't work completely well with.
So it wasn't just a Windows, was that the only Windows computer you hooked it up to? Or
No, I had two different Windows computers and one Mac.
And then just that?
Just this one laptop, for some reason, it connects, mic works fine, audio works fine. It actually is receiving the video signal, but the video signal is all black, so it tells me it's probably an encoding problem.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd like to do is I'd love to see them do a version of this with an HDMI out. I really would, just because if you're using this, it means this is probably the only one you're using. If you've got an HDMI out or even SDI out, this becomes more of a professional product where I can have multiples, so I could do like a panel and every one of them has their own rig on a stick. But for the first go, dang, Marantz, you knocked it out of the park. This is a really, really nice setup. I look forward to see how they're going to evolve this into the future. And I want to give this a deeper go. I want to show people actual footage from the camera, because it's impressive. And for $300, again, it hits that price point of a podcast studio in a box.
I love it.
Yeah. Now, folks, we know that this was a lot of information, and we want to make it easier for you to get to it. What you got to do is you got to go to our show page at twit.tv/KH. There you're going to find all of our back episodes along with the show notes, which is going to include links for all the products that we talked about. It's also going to include links to, say, XSplit Broadcaster in case you want to download it and give it a try. Again, twit.tv/KH. And as long as you're there, why not subscribe? There's a little menu there that you can get a video version, an audio version, or a high-definition video version automatically into your device of choice. It's the best way to support the show and to make sure that we can continue to do all the DIY goodness that you love so much. Also, don't forget that we're on socials. We do socials, specifically on Google+. Go to Google+, look for Know How, ask to join. Once you're in, you get access to almost 12,000 Kitas. Those are know-it-alls, our folk who are in every stage of their maker DIY journey. Post some pictures, post a video, ask a question, answer a question. Maybe what you ask or answer will end up here on this show. By the way, Megan, you do a couple of other shows on the TWiT TV network, don't you?
I do. I do iOS Today. That's every Tuesday morning, 9-ish Pacific time. And every Thursday afternoon, I do Tech News Weekly. With
Fantastic.
Jason Howell.
Yeah.
And that is in the afternoon, sometimes 2:30 Pacific. But get subscribe and get it whenever you want to listen or watch.
And where can they find you on the Twitters?
I'm at Megan Maroney on the Twitters.
And you're going to find me at Padre SJ. And you're going to find the third member of our group. We call them Buttons. You can find Buttons at twitter.com/ what is it, Buttons? NLF3. ANELF3. Yeah. Go to ANELF3 and say hi, Buttons. He'll love it. Until next time, I'm Father Robert Balacer.
And I am Megan Maroney.
And now that you know how, go stream it.
Stream yourself.
I am a streaming robot.